folks, welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys, and we are going to start off, this is going to be a great reminder that we have the Shred for the Bread tournament, competition/tournament is upon us. We are in the midst of the competition right now, and C-City Toker, running assassin, is spearheading the assault. He is going, this is a build specifically for the competition, and there you have it right there, Soul Shred, bada bing, right off the jump. We had Tusk Shadows. If you saw the other game, the guy was just dying to be able to play that card, could not draw it to save his life most of the time. C-City pulls it right after his first mulligan. So anyway, he is in casual, as you can see. We're not necessarily on the ladder, which for a deck like this probably is a good thing. Ooh, Skooma Cat with its freaky little eyeballs. And C-City circling around, settles on. Boy, he is going back and forth. Clearly divided minds, but settles on the Channeled Storm. Which makes sense. I mean, remember, Soul Shred is a card that is... I forgot this. C-City sent this video to me, actually, so I'm not watching this live. I don't want to make it seem like I am. But cat's out of the bag now, of course. You would know that that's not what I'm doing. But anyway, Soul Shred, there we go. Thank you, C-City from the past. Empower. And for those of you who don't know or need refreshing, Empower means every time you hit your opponent's face, it either reduces a cost or increases. It either reduces or increases your whatever it is, the certain thing. So for Soul Shred, it increases the amount of cards that it burns from your opponent's deck every time you hit. So you ideally want to hit their face as much as possible. So right here, Channel Storm is a 3 cost, or it does 3 damage. If the camel hits face and then he uses Channeled Storm, it's going to go up to a 4 cost. It's going to go up to 4 power, boink, and then he can use it on the 7th floor. So the idea, what you want to be doing when you're trying to shred for the bread, when you're trying to, in the competition end of things, try to get, because the tournament is more about just getting to the tournament. So the competition that's getting you into the tournament is more about trying to be able to ping face as many times as possible in order to increase your shred. So as you see, the Bandari Opportunist and Wisp Mother. See, okay. So if he could play a Wisp Mother again, well, no, okay. He's gonna have to work up to this, but you can see what he's doing. Wisp Mother is gonna create double Bandaris. My business is none of so he may do it next turn. Play Bandaris, so that'll be 2 Bandaris. My time is precious. And it'll equate to a pretty nice Soul Shred. His best case scenario, which he won't be able to do because Baroness and everything is there. Would be 2 Wisp Mothers and then Soul Shred with that, because then you get 4 Opportunists, and that's some crazy damage. But again, Black Hand Messenger is going to be another great inclusion because it hits face as soon as it gets played. Oh wait, no, it hits a card, drains. No, okay, it hits the face when it dies. Yeah. Alright, so C-City and Targaryen, creative spelling there, which is, it works out well. It works very well in the and Ulfric's Uprising. Again, that pairing that with Black Hand Messenger. The Black Hand sees all. Black Hand doesn't see anything because the Black Hand is just fingers and a thumb. But yes, C-City giving us a good look. Ulfric's Uprising triggers. The always clever. Oh yeah, that triggers a summon. It doesn't trigger. It doesn't trigger the effect. It's not a. All right, so it's going to be interesting. We'll see where he goes with this. We will see where he goes. Oh, there's another Bandari. Gotcha. Ooh, debilitate again. That's another Empower card. It gets cheaper every time you hit the face. So Bandari's hit and hit. It's not going to make it cheap enough. But there's a 0 cost that spawns another 0 cost. It's a great use of it. We may very well see Cruel Fire Bloom, because both those targets Wow, and Sea City really getting mileage out of those that Wisp Mother. And she is gonna get nuked, as could be expected. But look at this now also, without really even trying, Sea City has created a 7-cost board. Now remember, yeah, ideally you are gonna win. We want you to win when you're doing the Soul Shred, but if you can do it this way, like if you can just get a crazy cool shred out of it, you know, there's something to be said for that as well. Black hand. There's one. So yeah, you see all the empowerments that it does. And yeah, Ulfric, I don't know. I mean, it would draw him a card. It would trigger a ward. That's about it right now.
Watch yourself now.
Okay. So we'll see if he's going to shred on this particular turn. It's a nice, fine bit of triggering there, boys. Fine bit of triggering. Lots of wards. Wards for everyone. So again, now he's got 5. So let's see, banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, I think, per attribute. And then you add 1 for every... Oh, razzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle-ma-dazzle. So yeah, Targaryen going for blood. He's looking to end this thing. And he's going to get really close. We'll see if Sea City... Now, luckily, okay, Targaryen can't swing again. Ooh, and he's going to burn Brynjolf. Would be useful to be certain. Alright, yeah, looks like this is going to be the... Yep. Go. Good use of that Empower. Viper taking care of Razzle-Dazzle-Dazzle-Dazzle. I mean, he's down to 4, though, and Targaryen is running the colors of Cliff Racers. So, there is some risk there, but yeah, if Queen... Well, you need a guard in both lanes if you're going to protect against that.
Approach and be
Wonder if he's running a Mentor's Ring. Not that it's applicable at the moment. I mean, it would be applicable. It would be a big deal at the moment, but it'd be interesting to see. But like again, another way you can do it, just straightforward. Grow your board.
Likes these.
You know, you because if you've got 2 full lanes or almost, you know, 7 to 8 pings in a single turn, that's gonna shred you, get you some good shredding. And then if you can throw a Bandari on top of it, and then if you got Brynjolf, I mean, well, obviously Sea City unfortunately overdrew him or milled him, but if you can, if he's on the board, every time you pilfer like that, you get more magic to work with. You can play more chargers. I'm wondering if Sea City is playing like Giant Bat and, you know, some other charge creatures other than the Bandari Opportunists. Was definitely hoping to hit Brynjolf on that play, but he has a backup in his Splooter. All right, you see, again, holding on to this, holding on to his cards, and this is going to tie into a little bit of what I think. Oh, and gets the Queen. No more draw there. Again, three cards in your opponent's hand, and one of them is Piercing Javelin for the only drain creature on the board.
Aha!
That is a sad Leaf Lurker. Ooh. Yeah. So yeah, he's going for it. He's going for the shred. Let's see if he gives us a count. And holy cow, look at this. He's closing in on the win as well. And unfortunately, I can't look at how many cards Targaryen has right now. Woo.
You'll not be rid of me that easily. Go again.
There's another one. What are we up to, Sea City? What are we up to? Because I know. Oh my gosh, another one. Look at that with the 0 cost. He can just keep playing them ad infinitum, and he's gonna not only shred, but he's ooh. I mean, he's not out of the woods yet, but Targaryen's gonna be. Oh, let's see that again. Let's see it again. I might have to pause the video. To see what his shred count is for this. Because holy cow, it's magnificent. It's gonna get all the way down. Golly day. So he's gonna get the win and 15 banish 16 cards.
That was fought well.
Whoa, Sea City! Oh my goodness gracious, sir. That is exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. I don't know if you get much better than that. Holy cow. That was a win on the mill. Could have won just off of hitting face if he wanted to, but he did it on the mill, and with I think that was a 16, if I'm not mistaken, 16 trigger. Now that was more than that. There were more cards than that. It's 16 per attribute, I think. I'll have to look at the card again, but holy cow, Sea City. That is going to be a top contender for the top spot for the competition, and a few more games like that. Heck, man, you may already have, with just that one alone, that may be enough to keep your average, to keep you in the top 8 for the tournament. Well done, sir. Woo-wee. And so it begins.
I'm testing an old deck on ladder. I haven't laddered pretty much all month since I got to rank 4. I couldn't be bothered to do ladder, so but I thought a couple of days left in the season, good chance to actually experiment with some old decks, because I'm looking to thin some out, see which ones might hold up on ladder for a future season. So I'm not seriously looking to climb. I just want to see how these older decks get on. So start with this aggro Empire, and let's see how we get on.
Light your path.
Look at that, all the cheap cards, and I still get a 5 cost in my hand at the start. This is probably going to be lethal movement, possibly slay, isn't it? Oh no, or maybe just straight aggro. Let's put my little darling out.
I want to be in a
Let's see if he gets moved out the way. He probably will, let's face facts. Yippee, not. So I think it's going to be Elder Glam, or is it Elder Gleam? I want to call it Elder Glam, but it's probably Elder Gleam, isn't it? It's not particularly glamorous, is she? But I like to call it Elder Glam. Well, that could be useful if I get time to play it, but probably not.
We must protect our stronghold.
Yippee, not. That's a pity, isn't it? Okay, let's try and delay them a bit, but they've probably got something for that, haven't they? Let's face facts. They won't want me gaining health, will they? Sorry, I'm a bit hoarse because I've been laughing so much today. I actually was doubled over laughing earlier about something, and I was laughing so much it hurt, so... yeah, I'm a little bit hoarse. I've been laughing too much, really, basically, but that's... I'll try and keep clearing my throat until I actually manage to talk normally. I think it's going to have to be 5th Legion and the Kiva next, isn't it? I need to try and... It'd be nice to be able to get some more green on the board, though, so I could set up for Oathman.
This one offers.
Oh, I like her. Now, admittedly, that's a pain in the butt, but she's really good combined with what's it called? Stormcloak guy. The guy for Ulfric Stormcloak guy. The Stormcloak. Is it Stormcloak Vanguard? The one in charge. I often pair her with him. Oh, look at that jackal! It's so cute, isn't it? Okay, let's just put that over there, just so they don't kill it outright.
Training is over. It's time to act.
Might as well get the value from the trainer while I can. Now, I'm going to go with the Charis purely because I don't want them having a beefier body on. They've already got enough beefy bodies to hit me with, haven't they? And I'll apply to Schwaaard later.
There are ill winds this
Yippee! Not. I'm probably not going to get time to do a Broomer, am I? I could do with getting some drain on the board, but they're certainly doing a good job of stopping me. You have to be Oathman really next round. Now you could have done with turning up earlier with the wisp.
attack.
Okay, this is a loss then, isn't it, really?
Did I stutter or something?
I'm gonna have to try and chance that I survive another round, but they've probably got some reach, let's face facts.
Move aside. Imperial business.
I do love that effect. Brilliant, isn't it? I know I should probably hold off, but they've got a decent number of cards anyway, so I think if I hold off, I'm not going to get a huge amount of benefit from that, am I? I'll have to kind of put myself within striking range and put pressure on them, because they've put pressure on me the whole match, really. So we know they've got a cloak and dagger there, because they had a dual card. Oh, great. Yippee, not. Definitely lost then. I probably should have jabbed that last round, but I did need to try and set up to try and do Broomer. Oh well, they did well there.
So you see, the gauntlet for Shred for the Bread has already been thrown down. That is going to be a high mark to beat, and I look forward to seeing what y'all can come up with. But holy cow, that was a lot hotter than I expected it to be right off the jump. I thought there'd be a little bit of a, I don't know about a learning curve, but just kind of like a, oh, let's figure out what cards work and let me think about. No, Sea City is just like, I got this. Sea City has been a beast ever since I've met him. And now I'm trying to remember how the heck we met. Like what, under what circumstances did we meet? Well, he is also in, if you watch any of my, watch any of the videos, particularly the ones historically, Joseph. There was a lot of his commentary. So I think he found the channel first. And I saw a lot of his comments, and what I liked was initially him, and there were a few others that had a great way of, and like Marxist for Life Mark, that we see on here every so once in a while now. He was, at one point more engaged in the comments of the videos, and holy cow, as I'm talking, A-Ross is just crushing it with, like, literally just absolutely crushing it with his assassin deck. And oh my goodness, we got Kitty with the Northern Lights, and that's probably going to be GG with 5 magic. There's not a whole lot Bjorn's going to be able to do. It does not seem, and Apex is probably going to get at least 1 trigger. Okay, okay. I was about to say all he did was manage to allow himself to be killed by. Okay, so yeah, we'll have a little bit of something, but just to, Sea City had a great way of, and Mark had great ways of kind of being like, hey, encouraging, but also saying, hey, here's another way to look at it, or here's how I see the game. It was offering their input, their insights. Oftentimes it were sometimes contradictory or just somewhat different than mine, than what I presented in the videos. And so it wasn't like, hey, dummy, it's actually this way. It was more like, I understand what you're saying, but da-da-da-da. So very amicable. Is a great way to kind of get to know some of the players, and right off the jump, when somebody can speak to you respectfully, like disagree or offer correction in a respectful way. You just know you're dealing with a quality person, because that's not something folks do, or a lot of folks
fight
are
well.
considered to do, trying to do. A-Ross, holy cow, just not even giving me a chance to finish my story. Okay, we are joining A-Ross once again. Had Kevin Eisenfaust for a brief moment, but he was in a really bad predicament when we jumped in, and it was one of those that I was really hoping he'd be able to make a comeback, but his opponent just had enough. Yes. So A-Ross was just giving me the details of this deck. It's got Fingers of the Mountain.
I am the queen
3 copies
mother.
of it, in fact. Here, I'll tell you what he said. Let's see. 3 Fingers of the Mountain. Curse from Scourge, Move in Shadows, and all the 1-drop actions he has. This is one of his most effective decks, as he's saying. As you can see, he has number 3 right now. 3. We saw K Fluffy the other day was at rank number 2, legendary number 2, and we see here A-Ross is number 3. And this is rough right here because he's going to take, it's going to be a null effect because he hits this guy for 6. He's going to receive 6 damage and he'll drain.
Behold my brilliance.
Okay. Nope, there he goes. Okay, so now he's changed it. Now he's only going to take 3. He heals up for those 3, but he keeps the queen alive. A good heads-up play there. And a great use of the Hatchery Middler. Which, I don't know, is that a career? Is that a profession?
If I can't
do they have
steal it, it
professional
can't be
meddlers? Like, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a hatchery meddler. I get into hatcheries and I meddle with them. And he just said, if you didn't catch that, he said the Hatchery Meddler is in fact a new addition within the past 10 games or so. So it turned out really well there. It's a very versatile card. I like any card that gives you more than one option on how to play it. It's not really necessarily giving you 2 cards because it's still a single resource, but its efficacy is amazing. And no doubt we're going to see a Shrieking Harvey come down to
Care to make a friendly wait.
shackle down the adventurous Sails Through Storms, I believe is the name.
What can Khajiit do for you?
Ooh, but the Devious Bandit is going to allow that trigger anyway,
Fight well.
along with some drain and bit of a low pull there from Playlord, who is, as we can see, making his way to the tower. He's done with the lady, and A-Ross could finish it off here, barring a prophecy.
You fight
Actually,
well.
it doesn't matter because he's got the lightning bolt and a cliff racer, so plenty of reach, and holy cow, once again, a definitive win.
This episode sponsored in small part by the Legendary Remnant Discord. If you're totally like a Legends player and you're not part of the Legendary Discord, I'm just gonna say you're a square and you're not cool. So join the Discord, Legendary Remnant Discord in particular, and you'll be totally awesome. Okay? I love you. Okay, I don't know what that was. Let's move on to the primary sponsor of this video, which is Heroic Trio, a card from the brilliant mind of Eye of the Restless Storm. And holy cow, this is a mind job and a half. This is a 12-cost, unique legendary for Dominion. Comes out as a 5/5 body, which is representing 3 different bodies. But anywho, upon summon, here we go. You got 3 options. Follow me. Option 1, you may play a card from your opponent's hand if they can pay its cost. Option 2, you may play a card from either player's discard pile if you can pay its cost. And option 3, you may summon a creature from either discard pile with a passive ability as an ongoing support. What in the world are we talking about here? Goodness gracious. IO, sorry, that's the full abbreviation. IO. Oh my gosh, so kudos for coming at this with a completely fresh take. I'm not sure if there's something like this in Magic the Gathering or something else, or if this just came out of your brain. I'm just like, holy cow. So then the one that really kind of jars my brain is the first one. So for option 2 and 3, you're pulling from a discard pile, which means you inherently know what it is. You're selecting it. It's already been played or already been burned. So not a lot of ambiguity there. Option 1, though, makes it seem like either you are able to select a card from your opponent's hand, which I don't think is the case, because that would be incredibly broken. I mean, you get a 5/5 body, and essentially you get to see your opponent's entire hand, and you get to pick a card from it, making sure that it's under the value. Like that, there's I don't see that as a possibility. So the other option is you are going to blindly be selecting a card from your opponent's hand, and you're going to be able to take it, provided they can pay its cost. The thing is, though, this is a 12 cost in colors that don't have ramp. So the likelihood of you on turn 12 of being able to play this, best case, you've got a ring or a contract or something. But more than likely, any card you pick out of your opponent's hand at this point in the game is going to be, they can afford to play it. So I'm not really sure why that stipulation is in there. I mean, I guess technically, if you don't have that in there, there may be a card somehow that they wouldn't be able to afford to play. But I also don't know. Here's the other catch. I don't know, is this affecting or going off of the magicka that they have from their previous turn? Because here's the thing, you're playing this on your turn. So my thought is, as a mitigating factor, let's say, I mean, you don't see it a lot, but, you know, we've seen it in a lot of games where you go, you know what, I do have cards to play, but I don't see a ripe opportunity to play them. I'm going to hold on to them. I've got 5 cards. My opponent only has 1 card on the board. I don't have any card that I really want to play, so I'm just going to hold back and wait to see what they do. And so they don't use their Magicka. So I'm guessing possibly this is going based off of the Magicka they have from their previous turn, because the Magicka doesn't roll over, doesn't turn fresh until the start of their turn. So if your opponent has 11 Magicka and they play a 6-drop and a 2-drop, that leaves them with... Crap, I just lost the numbers. Did I say 11? 6 and a 2. So they have 3 Magicka left. So that would actually make this clause make more sense. If they've only got 3 Magicka to work with, or if that's all they have right now, and that's all you have to work with, the chances are actually pretty good that you're going to select, even though it's random, you're going to end up selecting a card that's too expensive. Especially if we're talking late game, they probably don't have a lot of that hanging around. So you could end up selecting a card that's 8 Magicka, and they wouldn't be able to afford to play it, and so you're kind of hosed. I think that makes more sense. It's more of a higher risk. But again, the cool thing is you have these 3 options. So if that doesn't look favorable to you, now that may not be it. Maybe it's, but I think it has to be it, because otherwise it would be saying, again, 12 Magicka, 11 or 12 Magicka, and that's like, well, what are the odds you're going to pick a card they couldn't afford to play? And then the question is, though, have you then burned their Magicka for the next turn? So let's say you pull an 8-drop. Does that mean next turn, if it's turn 12 for them, they only have 4 Magicka to work with? That seems like a lot of oomph and a lot of power, putting a 5-cost body on the board, you know, and doing all of that. So I don't think that that's the case. My suspicion is that it's going, okay, if your opponent let enough Magicka roll over and you're feeling pretty good, you're feeling lucky, you can go ahead and pick a card, and it may end up being a 2-drop. It could very well be that, and you'll get it, but it's gonna be a 2-drop and a 5/5 body for 12, not a great deal. Or, you know, if they left a lot of Magicka on the board, you may get an 8-drop or something, and I'm guessing that would come out of their previous turn's Magicka, which doesn't really affect their next turn. So, but I mean, that's a heck of a dynamic. I think I sorted it out right. But if that doesn't seem favorable, if you've been holding on to this 12-drop and your opponent's not playing, they're using all their Magicka, so you really don't have anything to work with, you can go for option 2 or 3. Option 2, you may play a card from either player's discard pile if you can pay its cost. So, this is interesting as well. Goodness gracious, and gravy. Goodness gracious, with a side of gravy. So, again, this is 12 Magicka in a non-ramping deck, so I'm not sure how this would work for a Dominion card, because you would have to pick, in most cases, unless you've got that completed contract, unless you've got a ton of completed contracts, this is your max Magicka. You're playing this, and you've got 0 Magicka to work with, so it's essentially saying, I mean, no, it's not spelling it, it's not limiting you to this, but it would seem to be limiting you to a 0-cost card. And unless you held onto the ring, and then you got a whopping 1-cost card you can pull from your discard of the opponent's. But that doesn't make any sense with the value of the cost of this card. Why it would be a 12-cost to play a 5/5 and a 0-cost or 1-cost from your opponent. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking the language on this is a bit ambiguous. I mean, granted, it's saying you can play it. Either players like yours or theirs, so it does automatically get played, but you wouldn't be able to pay its cost if you play on the same turn that you play this. So I may be missing something. Io, you can let me know. Let us know in the comments. And if it's, you know, way off and way different, then maybe I'll do an addendum. You know, in another future video, kind of revisiting this. But yeah, so I'm a little confused on that one, to be honest. That one I haven't been able to sort out. But I do understand the third one, although it took me a second. The third option, you may summon a creature from either discard pile with a passive ability as an ongoing support. So, like I said, it took me a second, but like, let's say, 5th Legion Trainer. 5th Legion Trainer has a passive. When you play a card, it gives it +1 to attack any card you play. So this, if you were to pull that, if your opponent, it's been discarded, or even from yours, you can resummon the 5th Legion Trainer. She will come back as a support, meaning in perpetuity, and she's going to therefore give +1 to every creature that gets spawned. Honestly, I was having a little bit of a hard time thinking of other passive things, because a lot of stuff I'm thinking of are like summons, but I guess, what's his name? Valen? The guy who, I think is a 4/6, and every time a rune gets broken, you heal for 5, I believe. You know, if you were to pull him back, then in theory, every time a rune is broken, with that support on the board, you're getting those 5 back. Now, I mean, that has will have limited uses, but in theory, you could pull that back. I'm trying to think of another one, and I'm guessing Io has something in mind when he made this ability. Like I said, I think a lot of people do. They've got a cool thing that they want to do, and they figure out a card that has the mechanics in it to allow for that. So I'm not sure another passive one. Everything I can think of is a summon. I mean, there are plenty of cards that give, like, there's a guy, So there's the guy that gives a ward every time you summon a card to his lane, but he's an endurance anyway, he wouldn't be in this deck. Although he could be in your opponent's, but nobody ever plays him. But if he did, I'm not sure that would work with a support, because the support would you'd have to indicate to the support which lane you're referring to, and usually supports are not lane-based. I don't think any of them are, actually. But yeah, I mean, so, you know, I don't want to belabor the point too much, but that's a very interesting idea, converting a passive ability of a creature into a support. That's a really cool concept. Again, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, there's like a ton of them. That's the only one I can think of at the moment. Oh, those are the only couple examples I can think of. But I'm sure there are plenty more. But it would just add a whole nother dynamic to it. Is it worth the 12? I think the body's big enough that any one of these could be worth the price. But it's all situational. It really depends on, you know, what your discard is looking like. And really, for that second one, it really is going to how that Magicka works out. The cost. Yeah, I don't know how you could pay the cost if you've just played this 12 Magicka card on turn 12. It's a little befuddling, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. I am glad it's a unique legendary, because I would not want to be messing with this too many times. And it does seem, even though these heroes are not named, it is a heroic trio. Some noble Khajiit kitties wearing armor and dresses and wielding cool swords. Does look pretty much Elder Scrolls Legends. The artwork looks like it fits right in. And I'm guessing, again, I've rambled on about this, so I don't want to belabor it any further, but guessing maybe there's some lore here, in-game lore. But the artwork looks pretty darn good. And yeah, it's a nice card. I think the cost, like I said, is probably well worth it. I'm just a little fuzzy on the second option. I was fuzzy on the first one, but I think I got that figured out. But again, IO, you can let me know if I butchered it, if I've ruined it, and also what your what card are you thinking of in particular? What cards, when you think of that third option, summoning a creature with from either discard pile and turning it into a support? You know, did you have something in mind for that in particular, or were you just like, oh, I just think that'd be a cool ability? Anyway, thank you so much for putting this doozy out there. I mean, these are paragraphs, so this is the first card. It's like, okay, paragraph 1, subclause 2, what have you. Anyway, thanks so much, I have the rest of Storm, for this fantastic offering. And thank you all for taking a gander. And now let's get you back into the games.
So I'm testing out an old deck on ladder. I'm not seriously looking to climb. I'm just thought I'd experiment with some really old decks not played for absolutely ages. See which ones hold up on ladder, because it's right at the end of the season. I thought I'm not really in the mood to seriously climb, but it'd be useful to just test and experiment. And I want to do quite a few new builds in the new season, so I figured let's clear some old decks out now and just give them a test, really. I've got a better hand than my last match. Well, she's a faithful friend, isn't she? Turns up at the start every time. Also a very good way to deter them from hiding the stuff in the shadow lane. Well, anything weak in the shadow lane anyway. Hello, Marcus. He's come over. He wants his back done. He's purring, bless him. Good boy.
I will have my vengeance.
Yeah, I'll put her there, and then I'll
want to be an assassin, like Mario.
probably put the skinned hound out to protect the shadow lane one. Yippee! Not. No. Skinned hound would be good there, because whittle its health down a bit. This person's name rings a bell. I mean, I think they're classic Empire, late game Empire, so we'll see how aggro Empire stands up to it.
A few drinks.
Oh, great. Yippee! Not.
What could be better?
Okay. Emperor's Blade, I think. But he's always useful to annoy people, isn't he?
I will have my vengeance.
At the ready.
Got a nice shiny sword, isn't he? Yippee! Not. Well, I think I'd probably better kill that to be on the safe side. I don't want to risk them finding a way past him.
I'll find you the finest recruits in Syria.
I'll split my 2 costs so that if they've got another arrow storm, they can't take out an entire lane. Oh, they don't like him.
Go no further.
I will have my vengeance.
Probably Cliff Racer now and then trap her. Oh, well, that went well, didn't it? That was quite good for a second outing. So it's 1 win, 1 loss.
And we're going to get another chance to see A-Ross's deck, which he has called Hands Rated E for Everyone. This is a follow-up to an original, another version he had earlier, which was, I believe it's Fingers Point to You? Let me see.
Of course I'm on your side.
Pointing Fingers. Because, again, you had the fingers, 3 copies of the 6 cost Fingers of the Mountain, but of course it gets reduced down to gets reduced down to nothing if you once you ping enough times. Oh no, Fingers of the Mountain gets reduced by playing actions. Supreme Firebrands? Oh, that's what. Okay, so A-Ross has already identified his opponent's win condition, who, by the way, is vying for top 50 in Legends. So Darshmeister, Followers of the Lattice. Okay, so Darshmeister sounds like a pretty cool name. Follower of the Lattice does not sound. I think I would prefer Follower of the Lettuce, to be honest with you. Because at least a lettuce is a head. You know, you have a head of lettuce, and so you could kind of make an argument that it has a brain or some kind of cognizance, but Follower of the Lattice, it's like it's flowers and bushes. Let's see. Workshop. Okay. Nice. All right, so Darshmeister saying that he, A-Ross saying he recognized the name Darshmeister and that he was running Workshop in the past. Now it seems that he's branching out. Of course, you do feel a little bad, or at least I do, because I'm not the one playing. I don't think A-Ross has any qualms whatsoever, but, you know, it sucks when you see a player who is, like, maybe who used to be playing Invade or Workshop and is now branching out, and then they get their butt kicked and they then go back to their old ways. Alrighty, and we are joining A-Ross in a rematch, as I understand it, against Thuldir. If anybody doesn't know, Thuldir was one of the... he's one of the greats. Definitely one of the greats. Andy actually just said he is the best player in TESL, or at least one of the best. And I would certainly agree. If you go back and watch on Elder Scrolls, on TESL, like their channel, they actually have their masters. And Thuldir won that. I can't remember which year it was, but he was a winner there. Just a solid player, very humble guy. Seems like a very amicable guy, nice fellow.
You can trust me.
You know, just gracious in losses and just very humble as heck in victories, and just seems like a really nice guy. But A-Ross, Andy kicked his butt already, apparently, in their first matchup. So this is a rematch, and Andy senses that Thuldir is wanting some revenge. Which, knowing Thuldir, I think from a competitive standpoint, certainly, but he doesn't seem to be the kind of fellow to be grinding his teeth about it. But as you can see, he's top 7, so just good to see some classics back. You know, we lost a lot of the old school fellas and gals. There was like Silver. Oh gosh, what was her name? Oh, Nut Bunnies. I can't remember. Y'all can help me. I never hit him with fingers last time, so he's likely going to be surprised by it. Yeah, and you've pretty much got, it's going to be a nice, 1, 2, 3. Clear out that lane with the fingers. The fingers, they come for you. Look out for the fingers of the mountain. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but they're coming for Thuldir. I think. There's one. And there's 2. And there's 3. And there's face. So yeah, there's not, you don't, like, I don't think I've seen too many, but I know Core Data jumped in at one point. He kind of briefly came back. I didn't get to watch any of his games, but
my business
Brave saw him. Okay, Cliff Racer. Thuldir putting up a fight. I mean, this is the most we've seen Andy's aggression halted in the games that we've watched thus far. Don't want to do bewildering speed, I don't think. Certainly not. Never mind. What am I thinking? Alright, so he's going to hit for 5. He can play both Awakened Dreamers, and he's got a nice setup for next turn.
We see you waking. We see you waking.
Especially with that bewildering speed. If nothing else, it can shift them out and away. So Thuldir probably going to lose this one. 7 Magicka, not enough. I mean, Dark Seducer might be enough if he has her, but oh, never mind. He couldn't play her anyway. He doesn't have any ring charges left. So yeah, looks like Andy at number 3 is going to triumph in his rematch with Thuldir. But hey, Thuldir, don't know if you're going to see this, but it's great to see you back. And like I said, folks, it's a great from the days before. I think he probably was gone before Oblivion, before the gates came down. Yeah, but if nothing else, just a great from the Masters. Well done, Andy.
So we're back with a third game with this aggro Empire deck that I suppose it's aggro to mid, really. But I'm running this very old deck on ladder just to test whether or not it can still hold up. I'm not seriously looking to climb at this stage. You can see it's only a couple of days before the season ends. I was quite happy just getting to rank 4. Oh, that's a bad hand, isn't it? So far I've won 1 game with this Empire and lost 1 game.
Bright moons light your path.
The loss was to a
Well met, my
very aggressive
friend.
archer deck. Look at that, that's really clunky, that hand. That Bloomin' Necromancer's a pain in the butt as well. I mean, this is the second game where he's turned up when I've not had any 1-cost cards. And in fact, I haven't really drawn any 1-cost cards in any... Well, apart from the... what's the name? The Assassin Lady. Apart from her, I've not drawn any of my 1-cost cards in this... the 3 matches I've done so far. Yippee, not. Oh dear. At least they put them over there, so I can just ignore them, can't I? That's going to be funny in a minute, though, taking the board off one of them. I mean, really, why? They sounded so friendly at the start, and Dragon Ball, I was kind of hoping it was going to be a nice Dragon Shackle deck that I was up against. No such luck. I'm not bothered about gaining health, matey. He's just there to be a pain in the butt, really, isn't he?
No further.
Okay, I think 5th Legion
Training is over. It's time
and
to act.
Agent, just to take them all off that one. Set up if I need to kill it, so they equip it with some massive item or something. I mean, really, I've not been on ladder much at all this month, and now I'm like the 3rd game in, it's invade rubbish. Trying not to yawn, but it is tedious to play against, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm going to have to hit face in order to get. Yeah, I just need to make a little bit of progress.
Go no further.
I want to get value out of E-Smarts, don't I?
You can't defeat me.
Well, to be fair, a lot of playing against Invade, even if you starve them cards, they still draw Force of Destruction. You can starve them, they can no hand, and they get exactly what they need. I need to kill that gate for too much longer, but where the hell's all my removal? I mean, Empire has plenty of it, doesn't it? That's one thing I do know about this deck. I might not have looked that closely at it, but I know I've got Edicts and Javelins in here. Might have Execute, but I can't really remember. It's kind of standard, isn't it? Yippee, not. I'm not sure why they thought he was the threat. Never mind. Okay, I'll just have to hit the gate with the one that's got the higher hit power.
I'll see you dead.
Go no further.
This one will lead you to glory.
Hopefully I can then take out that 2-1 in a minute since it's got no ward in it. goodness sake. Oh, great.
Praise be.
Yippee! Not. Of course. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to, let's think about this. I think Divine Fervor. Actually, maybe next round.
A little distraction might prove useful.
Let's just set up this one at the moment.
Go no further.
Fight like a child. Your fear betrays you.
I could recruit her. I think probably I could hold his spirit. That's probably the better option. It gets the most magic value. And then I can hopefully buff something useful next round when if that dies. Well, I've got the better board and I've got card advantage, but the fact is with Invade they always get what they need, so I'm not taking it for granted that this is a win. You can starve them with cards for ages, then they just get Forces of Destruction. Oh, yippee. I mean, where's my javelins and things? The pain in the butt, isn't it? I think they might be confident enough to go face though, which would be for my advantage. Come on, matey, it's not that hard to decide what your next move is. I mean, you're playing Invade after all.
Your blood
Good to see Trapper.
your flesh.
Okay, I'll probably do a further job here.
Chimera, spirit of the sky, guide us!
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a further job just to buff them up a bit more. I can clear out their shadow lane. Sorry, I put defensive rumor, wrong word coming out. I knew what I meant.
Go no further.
Behold my power. Behold my power.
At last, I'm rid of the wretched thing now. I don't like to get rid of her, but I'm going to have to trade there, aren't I?
You fight like a child.
What is that, 2 cost? Okay, that's probably going to be plundered then, isn't it? Oh, sorry, it's just going to be items. They're probably going to hope to go for breakthrough on that, aren't they? So I do feel like I'm falling asleep a bit. It probably wasn't the best idea to try and record when I'm tired. Here we go. Not quite enough there, matey. Oh, thank you, Will of the Wisp, but I just wish you'd have a bit earlier rather than turning up late all the time. Okay, so time to build a board and hope they don't have a bolt, really.
I'm ready for anything.
I'll find you the finest recruits in Cyrodiil.
I want to be an assassin, like Nari.
Fingers crossed there's no bolt. Great. That's the thing which is so tedious about Invade, isn't it? You just get rid of the wretched thing and then it's back again within about 5 minutes, isn't it?
Hardly a challenge.
Feel the might of the Empire!
Haha. They weren't keen on being smacked in the face by my recruiter, were they?
And we are watching Mallow, the troublemaker, up against Super Super Nuts. Super Nuts. Master of Oblivion. Bum ba bum 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 bum. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Super Nuts! Okay, I don't even want that visual. Alright, so Super Nuts, Dominion, currently in the tower. Mallow, with a decided advantage, much bigger board presence, a lot higher health, but he is starting to run a little low on cards. Super Nuts seems to have them in spades and has now just converted the board to his favor considerably. Sheer Point's going to be helpful, and we can see Mallow has got the Berserker the Pale. That is a Berserker and Molimir combo, if I'm not mistaken. That's the hope, but he just has to draw Molimir. Molimir's never been very shy on making appearances. I would be a little surprised if we didn't see him coming up in the next turn or two. He seems to make it. Mallow getting that sweet card draw from his dragon, also knocking out the big ol' Atro. Of course, Super Nuts more than likely has another Alpha Conjure, because that's how these things go.
I'll get this yet.
Okay, he does not. I thought for sure he's going to be able to heal for 2.
Bless us, Kai. May we serve you with every word.
Your hands are on fire, dude. I don't think Kine is listening. I mean, maybe he's kind of listening. I'm the funniest in the world. When again, that lookout really keep the deck alive. The lookouts are so key in Dragon decks. Whether it's especially in, I would say more so than any of the other ones. In the other colors, they're good and they're a nice addition. They are essential. The Woodland Lookout and the Red and Green Lookouts are huge. If you're up against an aggressor, they give you the health gain you need, and if you're up against a control deck, they are your draw engine. Mallow not to be dissuaded. Obviously, I mean, he's playing away from the guard, which you kind of got to do, but that does put him open to another Cliff Racer. And there you go. And Super Nuts just doing the things you'd kind of expect from Super Nuts.
Path is wide and clear.
It's good to see that 6/7. You don't get to see him very often. Green Pack Stalker, and this is a constructed game, mind you. All right, so does it Super Nuts have an Empower that he's looking to play? And Mallow feels he is screwed, but you got to look. Super Nuts is down. He's running his only advantage.
The forest is my cloak.
Really was card advantage, and he no longer has that.
For my hold.
I will have the pick.
And I mean, shoot, if he can get Molimir here, it's a win. There it is! There it is! Oh my god! Well, no, because Molimir can only hit once. Yeah.
I will fight for my hold.
Does that double it? Does it stack? It does. Ooh. Nice, Mallow! You got the combo. Told you Molimir would show up. Alrighty, I heard rumors from, I'm not going to say who it is, that A. Ross agreed to run Geube. And I don't know if that's this deck or not. This looks like support Spell Sword.
Pure and strong.
Pretty sure it supports Spell Sword. If it's not support spell sword, I don't know. I'll probably... I don't know. It is definitely support spell sword. And unfortunately, Red Brahmin just manages to shackles, not actually going to thwart Aros, because he gets his divine power from Divine Fervor. And so he is prepared to... Oh, alright. So El Turbo, again, we see a top 10 player. Top 10 versus top 10. El Turbo has a stay of execution. Obviously, at this point, we could see the Guardians come down. We could see... okay, I thought he might have a way to... Dark Rebirth his... Oh, is he looking for an Ice Storm? I think he is. I think we're going to see a decent Ice Storm from El Turbo, and we do! Aros, very fortunate, he's got that... Well, actually, no. He would have lost one more creature without Divine Fervor, but the other ones, Giggles and the Bloodkin, they're pretty robust even without it. In terms of their health, their power, not so much, but their health is there. And nice premium familiar. And down comes Tullius' conscription. And it's a full board. All the tricks, got the shackle, got a bunch of guards down. So Aros gonna be in a bit of a pickle here. It's gonna shackle the familiar. No, okay, just guards up the harpy. Yeah, Aros definitely is gonna need a forward camp. Or I would say looking for a forward camp. And Worldly Wanderer, yeah, with the Divine Fervor, he's gonna be able to pull whatever the heck support he wants. Which is great. Oh, wait. Oh, what happens if he pulls it when he's already got 4 supports? That may be the conundrum. I've never encountered that. I haven't run too many support decks myself, so I'm not sure. Maybe y'all are just laughing in your sleeves at me, but if you pull a support, I mean, because there's no way to interact, and oh no, I guess you can tell it which one to delete. But if we don't see. Forward camp, it means either Aros has already played it, or he needs to burn through that elixir before he can play Worldly Wanderer.
To oblivion!
Which is interesting, that's just something I never really thought about. And yeah, of course we see El Turbo has the Amulet Dead. Oh, has 2 of them. And that might be GG. I have not seen, in my mind, when I see 2 amulets down. And I remember watching Sly Boogie's, one of his videos, a while back. Shout out to Sly Boogie, is also, I believe, yeah, in-game it's Sly Boogie, or Sly Boog, but he actually has a channel, Sly Boogie, that you can check out. He plays, I don't know how often he plays anymore, to be honest, but, because I haven't really looked, but, when he does play a lot of, like, control decks and everything, so, if you're a big fan of control and you like to see good high-level control play, way to go, but, I was watching one of the games, and his commentary when he got the second amulet down, he's like, that's just game over. And that's not a hard and fast rule, but I would say it's a pretty good rule of thumb. If your opponent is control and they do have amulets, it's a heck of an upward battle. I mean, as we know, at least as far as I can tell, that's not going to kill Giggles.
Chaos take you.
And El Turbo, unfortunately, has a ton of, unfortunately for Aros anyway, I mean, I shouldn't speak definitively, but, okay, yep, so yeah, that's what needed to happen. He had to wait, and it really, that cost him, because if he could forward, you know what I'm saying, if he could have done that earlier, he might have been able to push. And is he going to wait for Cygnus to come down? I think so. Nope, okay, alright.
Ready to move out.
Bam. And once again, we just see him replenish the board. So El Turbo more than likely pulled back another conscription with his Sun and Shadow. Or is he going to try to do another Ice Storm? Nope, okay. And let's see if this one's just as robust as the last one. Okay, he's pretty charmed. He got Well, I don't know. All but 2. Again, guards in the right places. Lots and lots of guards, lots of
Nothing will
wards.
Stop my rise.
But as you can see, he is starting to run out on that conscription. So his third one is probably going to be bollocks. And you see he's back up to full health. I wasn't even paying attention to that. He is at 30 health, again, just from all the necromancers. The guy hasn't really drained all that much, El Turbo. I don't believe I've... Oh, there you go, a nice immune to lethal creature. 5/5 body that is not going to suffer this board of lethal creatures. So... Looks like... And, I mean, the one thing Aros has going for him, man, those 2 amulets. We may just see what'll look like a spontaneous concede from Aros. But he does have 2. We saw he still has 2 forward camps in his deck. And he's got the supports. Like, this is a heck of a clash, like, just going at it. You're trying to overcome 2 amulets, but you also have just the ability to flood the board, a wide board with big, beefy creatures with those Divine Fervors, all 3 of them down. We know he's got some more forward camps. He probably has more Cygnus standard bearer people things. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, wait, that's in his discard. No, all 3 of them are dead. So that is a problem unless Aros is running a resurrection of some kind, anything reanimate or soul tear. Unless he's running one of those, the main board generator is out. But again, the forward camps are not to be taken lightly. So another ice storm gets some stuff done, gets him up to 43 health. Like I said, just on the back of those amulets. Very little actual draining going on here. That's all the power of the amulets. Aros is just fortunate right now. I'm not sure if El Turbo runs Altar of Despair. I'm guessing he does. But this is definitely a worthy battle. And yeah, Aros just really struggling to draw. I mean, again, we know he has... Let's see, how many cards does he have left? He's got 31 cards in his deck. So he's gone through... Hasn't even gone through half of it yet, technically. Well, maybe just about. So he's not at any risk of decking out, but yeah, I just see the stalling. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. El Turbo again. I don't know where he keeps getting the cards from.
What secrets do you seek?
Well, that's pretty good indication when you have cards to draw other cards. Oh my gosh. Yeah, El Turbo just... It amazes me when I play this game. Not always happily, but it does amaze me when I see, 75 card decks able to draw what they need at the right time. Wow. And is this going to be an OTK? Does he have the Mentor's Ring? Wow, he does. Well played by El Turbo. Hey, Russ. Good game, man. And we are going to welcome to the channel Radopia, or Radopia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I should have asked. I always should ask. But the Gladiator. Oh, okay. Aros deleted the GUB deck, so we don't have that. But Radopia, yeah, just recently became friends. He's on the Discord. Yeah, it was, we talked earlier in this video actually about folks, approaching the game a certain way and then kind of changing it up. And, oh gosh, I'm just going to say Rad. I'm going to call you Rad for now, and because I don't know if it's Radopia. Actually, let me go ahead and I'll ask. Let me see. Where is... Alright, sorry, we had a little bit of conversing there. Oh, and he just, Rad told me how to pronounce it. Let me take a look.
We fight for the glory of lost
Radopia. So Radopia, I believe, is I'm getting that right. So yeah, Radopia has played the game before, but this is the first time playing it in this manner. And bam, exact lethal. Look at that. Is you see how he sidesteps the possibility of getting a prophecy? You think, why don't you just throw the dagger on there to begin with? No, he did that very smartly on his part to avoid any chance at a prophecy. So well done, Radopia. Great to see you on the game. Great to have you here. Alrighty, and for what is probably going to be the final battle of this video, we are joined Plamzaki? Call him Plam. Plam for now. Plam, you can let me know if I feel like I might have done this before. Oh, I do this all the time. Anytime it's somebody new and they have a slightly different or whimsical name, I feel like I always butcher the pronunciation. But Plam is a war hero up against McCorklia? Yeah, I always call him McCorklia. I think it's fine. The founder. Plam in the unfortunate position, just from my own experience of being in the steed, trying to climb out of it. Boy, that steed can be brutal. That was, I still remember that first climb and just how brutal that steed was. And his opponent is actually trying to get to the steed. So just an uphill battle for these two folks in general, but Plam is running a very nice pilfer deck.
At all for me.
And hopefully McCorklia is just running a Daedra deck and not so much, you know, an invade deck. I don't really know. I can't imagine in those colors. But from what I've heard, rumor is that, you know, people are trying to find new and different ways to run invade, and so that very well could be the case. But let us hope that is not the case now. Looks like the main option for Plam, actually you could bring out East March, or we could just drop 5th Legion at no extra charge. But that is a big kitty. Does have to worry about a Fell the Mighty or a Shadow Fen, something of that nature. Oh, he passed a turn. I didn't even see it. Okay, another Piercing Twilight. Master of Thieves is going to be huge, though, if depending on what McCorklia plays here. Not another guard. Okay, so Plam is going to be able to hit and hit again, and actually can do it 3 times. So this could be lethal right here.
We will make a fortune together. We will make a fortune.
Barring a prophecy that puts a guard down. Boom. And oh, wait, that was okay. 1 short. Dang, my math is garbage. Woo-wee. Alright, so this won't be the final. I thought it might take a few minutes, but Plam has made short work of it. Unless McCorklia has got a lethal dagger. I mean, even if so, I mean, Plam just has too many different options on the board. McCorklia looking for answers. Would have needed a dagger and a Staff of Sparks. Could have pulled it off with that combo. But with 1 life, there's just way too many options. He is going to fell the Mighty Kitty, though. He has taken her down with him. And then concedes. So, nicely done by Plam. And that's going to do it for today. Quick PSA, though. For the Shred for the Bread competition, I did touch base with Tusk, because it's his show. I'm just kind of helping get the information out there. He did say that the score, your average, is going to be based on the amount of cards that you shred, not the amount of pings that you have. So on the card, it starts off with 2. You burn 2 cards, and then every time you hit, it's +1 to that 2. So we saw in Monday's video, C-City got up to 16. 16 is not the number we're going to be counting. We're going to be counting the amount of cards that were shredded. So I think it was a dual attribute deck that C-City was against. So that's 16 times 2, which is 32. That's going to be the number that we're looking at. And so that's the number that we're going to be averaging. All that to say, you know, it's probably going to be more beneficial to play in casual, where you don't necessarily have to win in order to be able to pull off your move. But you probably want to avoid mono decks. There aren't a lot of them out there, but probably want to try to avoid that, because if you have a 16 ping, meaning you hit face, well, in that case 14 times, in 1 turn, and it's against a mono deck, you're just getting that 14 as your score, because you're only going to burn those 14 cards because it's a mono deck. Dual attribute is going to burn obviously 28, and then, or 32, and then the tricolor deck is going to triple that. And so the exact same execution can result in a different score based on how many attributes your opponent has. So, like I said, I did double check that that's the way Tusk wanted to run it, and that's what he said to go with. So that to say, avoid mono decks, and probably even, try to look for those tri-attribute decks. Again, we got plenty of time. You don't have to win. You just got to get that shredding done. So try to look for those 3-colored matchups to maximize your potential. That said, if your deck build is good enough, you can really get some great high scores, even if you're only up against dual attributes. Like I said, mono, you shouldn't have to worry about too much. Dual attributes is probably going to be the next common thing that you run into. And if you can execute like Sea City did, you get those 32 points, and somebody's obviously, if they are able to do the same amount of damage against a 3-attribute deck, their score is going to be higher, but you got to be able to execute. That's going to be the big thing. So just wanted to put that out there. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, DMs, whatever. But glad to see we already got some interest, some people thinking it over, some people putting the games out there. At Sea City, he just sent me his game via Dropbox. So if you want to, again, we do it in private, so not everybody's seeing it, but you essentially just send me your email address, and using that, I send you the Dropbox link that allows you to post your videos into Dropbox, and then I can either play them, or show them in games, or if we just don't have the time, I can at least go through it and verify the amount of cards that were burned. So that's that. Again, thanks all for watching. Thank you for being so involved. Thank you for bringing so much great brilliance to this game and allowing us all to watch it. And until next time, keep playing.